Greetings, YouTube. I'm wearing a shirt today from a place that you have probably never ever heard of. Today I'm going to talk about the latest non-fiction book I've read. The Island of Lost Maps, A True Story of Cartographic Crime by Miles Harvey. This book is fairly substantial. Started out as an article in a magazine about a thief named Gerald Bland. Yes, a thief actually named Bland. This man stole maps. A lot of maps. Over 250 of them from 19 different institutions in America and Canada. And he perpetrated this crime with one simple tool. A straight razor. He just cut them out of books, tucked them into a briefcase or a notebook or a shirt, and walked out. And he made a lot of money. He did, however, eventually get caught. The author of this book started out writing an article which was published. They then decided to expand upon it and do a full-fledged book. In the process, he went from just talking about the crimes of Gerald Bland and a biography of the man to discussing the very nature of maps themselves, the history of maps, famous cartographers, famous maps themselves, the importance of maps in human history, the symbolism of maps, what they represent to us physically and emotionally and psychologically. And of course, he also covered the crimes involving maps. Maps that had been stolen, the technology that was stolen or borrowed from others, how they perpetrated these crimes against each other in all times and places across the world, but mostly about Gerald Bland. Now, the author, maybe because he was a journalist, he has a very pleasant conversational writing style. It very quickly pulled me in and compelled me to read it, which is a good trait. It's a good skill if you're a magazine article writer, because you need to get that attention of that reader in that first paragraph. Otherwise, they're just going to flip to the next article or to the next magazine. And he succeeded at that. However, I think that the book is just a smidge too long, because in that last chapter, I was all mapped out. I was done. I wanted the book to be over. He had some good points to make, and I don't regret finishing the book. I just think that a little bit more editing, if he just tightened things up just a little bit, like 20 pages maybe, would have made the overall book more enjoyable and had my enjoyment to the end not wane as it did. But it was this definitely. I picked this up a cheap. I think I picked it up at a yard sale or something like that for very little, like $1 or less. Very much worth my time. I recommend it if you have an interest in history, in cartography, in the entire ideas and concepts behind the con man, behind the stealthy thief who just looks like an ordinary, everyday person, so bland, literally, that no one noticed him. That people couldn't describe him. He just blended into the background. And yes, his name really was and is Gerald Bland. This book I'll be passing on to my wife's grandmother. She's been looking for something to read, and this is a book that, while it dabbles slightly in technology and the internet, she'll still be able to handle it. But highly recommended if you are into any of these topics. I had a good time.